Merry Meet. In today's lecture, we will be discussing the Sabbath celebration of Lughnasadh. Lughnasadh, also known as Lammas, is celebrated August 1st in the Northern Hemisphere, and in the Southern Hemisphere, it's celebrated on February 1st. This is the final solar celebration and is considered the largest of the three harvest celebrations. It is the time when the grains are harvested, so it's understandable that during this celebration, one of the symbols is that of wheat or grain. This celebration is celebrating and named for the Celtic god Lugh. At this point, we're looking at the end of summer. Again, we're looking at colors of the sun, but more of the setting sun rather than the brightness of the new afternoon sun. Lughnasadh literally means the funeral games of Lugh, and this is not talking about Lugh's funeral, but one that he puts on to honor the passing of his foster mother. Burning an effigy is usually performed this time of year, and the purpose of this is to burn away negative energy to make sure that our crops and lives stay healthy and continue to produce. An effigy is simply an item that is created to symbolize something or someone. This is a form of sympathetic magic, which we can understand is something on a small scale to represent something on a larger scale. So by burning an effigy, we are looking at removing things we do not want to take with us into the darker time of the year, as we're slowly moving from summer into autumn at this point. From the energy of full life into the slower times of the year. Also, this is a time of honoring the goddess Demeter. As we know, Demeter is the Greek goddess of the harvest. Once the celebration is over, this is when her daughter has transformed from the young Corey into Persephone, and she begins her descent into the underworld to be with Hades. With this, we get the transition from spring and summer into autumn and winter. So as we can see, Lammas or Lughnasadh is a time of endings of one cycle and start of a new one. So our focus during the celebration is all about letting go of the past so we can move on to the future. This is a key theme because in order to move forward in our lives, we cannot chain ourselves to what has already happened. Since this is a celebration about harvest, especially with the grains, one of the most focused upon foods during this time is bread. Really heavy things like stews and pastas are usually served with this celebration. And the reason for this is because this originally is the last harvest celebration, and I'll discuss more about that when I get to the Mavon discussion in the future lecture. But pagan traditions, this is the last big harvest celebration, and we're starting to prepare ourselves for the silent part of the year. So we need to have the substance in order to survive the winter months when nothing is growing. So you pack on the carbs to make it through the winter. Now, as I've stated, Lughnasadh means funeral games. So let's put the fun back in funeral. We have mentioned the idea of burning an effigy, but there are other things that can be done to celebrate. We can, of course, make bread, as that is the focus of the celebration. Other activities could be things such as creating cornucopias, which are also known as horns of plenty. And this symbolizes having enough food to last throughout the winter. So it's another form of sympathetic magic. Making salt dough ornaments is also something people may do. We are using a flour bread dough and shaping it into symbols or painting things on it that we wish to let go of. And then we hang those items outside in trees and let nature take them. So we're releasing them. Making bird and animal feeders is also a great thing to do at this time. Not only does it keep the animals from trying to take our food, but they also need to survive through the winter months as well. So we're helping both ourselves and the animals. Not only is this a time to let go of things we no longer need, but it is also a time to look at what we have achieved over this past year and what we want to take with us into the next cycle. So now is the time to celebrate what we have achieved. So look at the great things that we've done and honor those achievements. So as we go into Lughnasadh, what is it that you need to let go of? What is it that you're honoring? Enjoy the Sabbath. Merry part.